of these old days, one of these old days, and we won't stop.
All right, everyone, welcome back to Transitions from War. This is episode 51. I'm your host, Mike, and as always, we're talking about reconnecting to mind, body, and spirit as my microphone falls over. And this week, we got Jake Jean from Tattered Beans, our newest sponsor, of which I'm super proud of and I'm super stoked to be supporting. Jake, man, what's up?
Hey, thanks for having me on. I have above ground. Life's good. You know, can't complain about that.
That's a good way to put it, man. I mean, when all things are going wrong, you really look at it that way. You're like, okay, I'm alive. Things are going okay.
Right.
I'm not living in an active war zone, so it can't be too bad.
Exactly. You know, I think people lose perspective. And listen, that's probably the one fucking word. Oh, I'm sorry.
You can say fucking shit, cock, balls, all of them.
You're right, man. Well, then that's the one word on Instagram and it's getting so fucking worn out. You know, everyone's like, oh, perspective. It's like, you haven't done anything to just understand perspective.
Yeah, exactly.
You haven't like you just said, like, you know, you haven't been to a war. You haven't, lived life yet. And I mean, I'm seeing on Instagram, these 22 and 23-year-old fucking people, like, putting these long posts, like giving like life perspective. It's like,
yeah, exactly.
What's happened in your life yet that's been able to give you a perspective on, good or bad, or just be happy you're alive.
Yeah, pretty much. That it reminds me of that one part of The Wedding Singer. He's like, what do you mean everyone's saying that? You're 8. You only know your parents.
Exactly.
So as we both take a sip of coffee, and I'll join you there. Tell me about Tattered Beans, man. We've been working together for, I think it's been maybe 2 months. Maybe just about.
Yep.
And you called me up and...
You signed on just when, because we've only been open about 2 months, and you signed on, right at the beginning. You loved the mission. I pitched it to you. Amanda reached out to you. I was like, dude, we got to get this guy. Send him an email. Let's say, what the fuck? Let's just give it a shot. Cause you're a big time dude, I admit that, like, you bring a shit ton of, authority to Tattered Beans and, understanding the mission of giving back to, veterans, active duty and first responders. And you and I were talking a little bit before, we started recording that, about Tattered Beans. In order for my mission to work, to give back, we got to get people to put profiles on the website. And so people can buy coffee under them, and then we can cut checks back to either them directly, or maybe to a foundation or charity that they like, or maybe to another veteran, because we give people, when they register, that option, because some people like yourself, you're like, hey, I'm doing good. So I don't want the money back from the sale of my coffee. I want it to go to the Iron Man Foundation. So,
yeah, it's such a cool model, and it's something that I haven't seen before. I've seen a lot of people who offer affiliate positions or sponsorships, maybe just through products. But what you guys are doing are giving directly to vets, letting them sell your product and make money for themselves.
Yep.
While they're doing that. So it seems to me like the easiest way for a vet to be able to get some income going with stuff you guys are providing, and you guys are just clearing out all the hurdles in the way. So, I mean, how'd you come up with that model?
Well, I was diagnosed with cancer here last September, and I had the coffee was a different line that went with my cafe that I closed because of my health. And so, like I said, Amanda, who's my right-hand person, I said, listen, I don't want this coffee line to just die off, with the cafe, because we can do that. I can do that from home and this and that. So I want to rebrand it, because through the cafe, we became very successful in the fundraising portion of the business world. Because, again, I work smarter, not harder. So
yeah, because you're in the Air Force, man. I'm the opposite way sometimes.
So we work hard, we work smarter, not harder. So I said, listen, I don't want to compete with all this retail boutique coffee lines. There's just, everyone's doing it. It's sort of like micro brew, or I don't drink, but I mean, it's like a micro brew type stuff. Like everyone does it in their garage, and then they're selling it to their friend. I said, I don't want to compete with that. So let's find a completely new niche. So for me, it was fundraising, only because I had kids who were in sports who we were constantly, Mike, like you have little ones, so they'll be coming up. But I mean, you got to sell fucking candy, you got to sell hoagies, you got to sell soft pretzels, and every single month we were selling something different. So I was like, well, shit, why don't we sell our coffee? And all of a sudden, Amanda killed it. It exploded. We became a really successful coffee fundraising brand. So I just took that concept and I said, okay, I want to give back to vets. How can we do that? And then so I sat down with her and we compiled the numbers and we looked at what boutique coffee was selling online. I said, I only want to sell it online to start. And at that point, we figured out our pricing. And so our bags went from $8 to $12. And I said, I can give that $4 back to a vet. And in order to do that, I called my programmer and I said, here's my idea. I need to build this website. He went in and I said, this is how I want it to work. The people, the vets are the products. The coffee is a sub-product. People buy the coffee and the money goes back to the vet.
Yeah, I'm not the best at math, but $4 out of this, that's like a third of the sale right there is going to a vet.
Yes.
I mean, it's not some bullshit like a 10% kind of deal where people are making, pennies on the dollar, but that's a lot. Let's switch gears for a second and talk about your background. So you're an Air Force vet. You went in, wanted to serve for a career, injury shortened that a little bit, but tell me about what your mindset was like going in and why you decided to join the military.
Well, my mindset was my head was up my ass.
That's a good place to be, man.
Right. I was bouncing at the local bar. I came back from college. I broke my ankle really bad. Scholarship wasn't going to be there anymore.
Playing football?
Yeah, football. So the scholarship wasn't going to be there. I wasn't able to run the way I used to. And at that point, I just went back home and kicking around the local neighborhood and I was a bouncer and gotten a little tiff between, two guys. We were breaking it up and took a knife to the hand. And my dad was like, nah, dude, you gotta go. You gotta do something fucking different with your life.
Yeah.
So at that point, he was in the Army. I always liked the Air Force, saw the commercials and shit like that.
Do you remember the commercial that got you to join?
Well, back then, so this would have been 90. I think they just had like a fighter, like the fighter jets and shit like that.
Yeah,
so
that's pretty badass stuff to watch.
Yeah, I went in, pretty naive. So I went in, if I remember right, I went in the recruiter like, oh, I want to be this fucking fighter jet shit like that. He's like,
yeah, it's so easy. Just sign this. Sign this.
And he's like, no. He's like, that's a whole different, like, you gotta go to Colorado and all that. And I'm like, oh, okay. So he goes, here's the things. Why don't you pick from this list? I think it was your top 3, because we all know it's the military needs. Whatever
exactly.
That's what the fuck you do. So that from that standpoint, I picked everything that was security, police, or that, in that orientation. So that's what I got, and went down to Texas, down to San Antonio. I remember my first, when I got out of, and I don't know how you guys were, but I remember getting off the bus, standing online and doing all that and getting yelled at, and people there with really long hair and getting made up names and this and that. And I'd always had a buzz cut anyways with football. And so I don't know about you guys, but like, the little locks that you had to put on your locker, I don't know who the fucker was that came up with these, but you had to push it down to put the key in to unlock it.
Oh, okay, yeah. So
60 fucking guys getting called all kinds of fucking names because none of us could get the fucking lock unlocked. We're returning the key, and it's like it's not unlocking. The guy's like, "Are you fucking stupid? Why don't you go back home to your mom?"
Yeah, your first experience of like trying to perform under pressure, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So that was pretty. It was good. I mean, I was always used to getting yelled at. If you're around football and if you got intense coaches and stuff like that, I was running back and a linebacker. So, I mean, it was just one of those things where you're always getting yelled at.
Yelling's communication.
Yeah.
Like in football, right?
Yeah.
I remember my very short career playing football. I mostly played O-line. And they said, all right, see this right here? And they showed us the football. Like, if you see this and it's on the ground, just fucking fall on it. Do not pick it up. Do not run with it. Do not try to throw to somebody. You fucking block people and you fall on a football. That's all you do. Hey, roger that, coach.
Exactly. Simple like 4 or 5 word sentences.
Yeah. Yeah. I know. Words probably is not going to have more than 3 syllables at a time.
Correct. Exactly.
Except for something like motherfucker.
Exactly. Now go fucking run a 300.
Yeah. So you go in boot camp, San Antonio, and then where are you getting stationed after that?
So after that, I went to tech school, security police. And then from there, I had the option of New Mexico or Montana. Or no, I had New Mexico. And I remember thinking like, fuck, I don't want to go to that place. Is hot as shit, And so I'm used to the winters and this and that. So I was like, well, I switched so you can swap people. So I swapped with a guy to go to Great Falls, Montana. Hey, and fuck, I met my wife 25 years out there, and so it was a good choice.
That's pretty solid. Wait, so who's this guy who didn't want to go to Montana and picked New Mexico?
Oh shit, I don't remember his name, but right, I mean I don't know how you guys work, but so when we got all of our station, like we were all sitting there, and then you could just talk to someone and be like, hey, do you want to fucking swap out? As long as you were security police.
Okay, yeah. As long as they had a warm body showing up, they're like, all right, there you go.
Fuck. So yeah, I were like, hey, I don't want to go to New Mexico. What's what do people have? Like guys like, I got Great Falls, Montana. I'm like, fuck it, I'll take it.
That's pretty cool, man. So I imagine this like like the stock exchange floor being like, I got Montana. Yeah.
But let me tell you, what, that was a crazy. I remember there was a guy in my flight who was also stationed there, and he was from, I think, Massachusetts. So like he picked me up, and then we followed each other out to Montana. And oh my God, I had this 78 Ford Bronco. Fucking thing broke down on the way out.
Solid.
Yeah, my rear drive shaft. The rear drive shaft broke somewhere in fucking South Dakota. So I had to run it on the front drive shaft to get the fuck out there.
Wow.
Oh my God, what a trip. Yeah. And then I get out there, it's July, and then it was like the first or second week of August, and I'm calling my parents, and there's like fucking 6 inches of snow. And I'm like, I'm in hell. I don't know what the hell.
Because this is not the right season for snow.
Like 2 days later, it's 100 some degrees. I'm like, what the hell? And then this is how stupid I was. So out in Montana, it obviously gets way below zero. And I called my parents, and I'm like, Dad, like all the cars out here are electric. They all have like fucking plugs hanging out.
Oh yeah.
Like, no shit. Like, I wonder why. I said, I don't know. So, and we get now, so this, I'm just literally brand new out there. So we're getting briefed, on the station in Montana and all that. And they're like, oh yes. And it gets so cold. All the vehicles have engine block heaters.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. You're like, wow, Montana's really progressive, man. They figured out this hybrid shit way before.
Right? All the way back in 1993. I'm like, oh, you're fucking stupid.
Oh, to be like 18, 19 again, right?
Oh my God, right?
I think one of the things, and it wasn't the thing that got me to sign on the dotted line, but I remember one of the perks that like made me quicker to sign was like, yeah, dude, all these bases, they got all kinds of stuff you can do that's fun. You can ride jet skis for free. And I was like, free jet ski rides? Fucking tell me where to sign.
Exactly.
So I remember telling that story when I showed up to one of my units. They're like, free jet ski rides? Get over here, you dumb motherfucker. Like,
we're going to give you a jet ski ride.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, I'm here for the jet ski rides, man. What's up?
That's fucking better than any story. I never had any jet ski rides.
I had no jet ski rides either, dude.
Yeah.
But And also when I showed up to Jacksonville, North Carolina, I was like, Jacksonville. Oh, they got the Jacksonville Jaguars. This is gonna be solid. And I showed up, and they're like, "No, you dumb shit. That's another Jacksonville in another state. We don't have anything here. Go pick up trash."
Florida, North Carolina,
Yeah,
Florida, North
exactly.
Carolina.
I think every state in the south, every state in the south has a Jacksonville.
Oh, for sure, I bet.
Yeah. So,
Yeah. I loved it. I tell you what, it was, to this day, I mean, that's probably the one thing I was always been bummed about is I love the military. Everyone, I mean, there's people that love it and don't, but I love the structure. Even when I went from, tech school and basic, where it's completely all structure, to the real Air Force, where it was obviously a lot more lenient. I just love the command and the structure of how everything worked. And, that's the one thing that I've always missed. And always try to take into each one of my companies is that, listen, you've got a hierarchy, you've got a chain of command, just don't all me.
Yeah, you go to the
talk
person
to that person, and it will, as it escalates, it'll get up to me, and we'll take care of it if we need to. Yep. So I've always tried to constantly emulate that in the things that I do.
That the structure, the efficiency, and the camaraderie, definitely the things I loved about the military. It's interesting some of the things you can take and some of the things that don't translate as well, getting out. But that structure, the rank structure, if you know how to use it, makes things run so smoothly.
Yeah. Yep.
So what did you end up doing when you got out? I mean, you've ran how many companies?
Oh, since I got out, yeah. I mean, there's probably isn't a business that I haven't run besides anything that's in the financial or business banking industry. But I mean, anything below that, probably invested in or owned or something like that. But so when I destroyed my knee, they gave me an option. They gave me 3 options. I can be a cook, I can go to admin, or I can take an honorable discharge. After talking with my wife and talking to, the captain and close friends and this and that, and the colonel of our base, it was just, I wanted to do security police. That's what I loved it.
That's a tough move to go to cook, dude.
Yeah. And it just wasn't, I'm like, I just don't want to be like, I had a dream. This is what I wanted to do. And I didn't want to, if I couldn't do that, I was like, fuck it, I'll just take the honorable discharge. And the good thing is I had met my wife, and she was still in college out there. And so I remember packing up my stuff and her saying, like, she just figured I was driving back to Pennsylvania, and that would be the last that we would, hear from each other. So this was back when we still had the 20-foot fucking phone cords, where you had the centralized phone. And you had that could, drive, you could walk all the way up to your bedroom on the 2nd floor.
No MySpace, man. No internet, no texting. Yeah,
it wasn't none of that shit. So, she was surprised that, because she still had 6 months till she graduated in that.
Where is she? Montana State?
Yeah, that's where so she graduated from Montana State. Yep.
Cool. So Montana, home of our other sponsor, Cowboy Crickets. Have you tried that stuff out yet?
I have not yet. I'm going to have to reach out to them and get some.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Yeah, you said it was badass.
Yeah, some people still can't get past the fact that, like, you're eating bugs. You're like, yeah, man, I'm eating bugs.
Dude, we ate it at bivouac. I mean,
exactly. Have you eaten lobsters? You have. You've eaten bugs. Cool.
Exactly. Again, all perspective, right?
Yeah, exactly.
All perspective.
Excuse me. What city is that in? Montana State.
That's in Bozeman.
Bozeman.
Yeah,
that's one of the like the toughest sounding, I think, cities in the country.
Right. Listen,
we from Bozeman, motherfucking Montana.
Yeah. Listen, Helena, fucking Missoula, all that shit is fucking badass. Listen, I tell this story. So I get there, I got to go register my car, and motherfucker, a cowboy. Listen, I play a fake cowboy. I got cowboy fucking shit like that. And I mean, even with Tattered Beans, it's a whole shtick of me being the cowboy of coffee. Let me tell you, man. So I pull up, and I'm putting my fucking dime in the parking meter, and this fucking cowboy with his guns on his fucking side rolls in his fucking horse, straps it to the freaking to the meter, puts his fucking money in. He's walking into City Hall just like I was.
Wait, so he still has to pay in the parking meter for the spot for his horse to be in?
Right-handed guy, he put money in the fucking parking meter.
That's a fucking cowboy move right there. I love that.
That was cowboy enough right there. That was freaking awesome shit. That was awesome. And I tell that story to this day because it resonates to me with Montana and ranchers and being a badass. And yeah, because listen, that whole area, listen, any motherfucker that lives where it gets to like 70 below, like you gotta be a mental stud. Like who in the fuck wants to like seriously, like people want to live in that shit. So you're a stud.
It seems like it has attracted an extreme person. I mean, you think about the people who came to America early on when it was nobody really knew what was going on over there as the New World. All the fucking crazy people and indentured servants is just a bunch of maniacs coming like, oh yeah, I'll get on a boat. I'll go there. Why not?
Yeah.
I don't know what it's like.
Yeah.
And then out of that, you get people who go from, the cities on the East Coast over to places like Montana and be like, 30, 40, 50 below? Yeah, I'll do that.
Yeah.
So I can see that's like a place, like a hotbed of just like mental studs, like you said.
Oh my God. And then like, so there was the Missouri River, crossing and all that. And so they have this huge museum for that. And to think so I'm not going to, I could probably Google it real quick, but it took them, I want to say months or something like that to get over that. So you're looking at it from the hill and you're like, I know what the hell, it doesn't even look that bad. But then you start thinking like you're walking, you've got, your carriages and like the things that they had back then that they were trying to, cross this, like, okay, I get it. As you're looking at a big concrete bridge,
Yeah.
and your fucking tractor trailers and all that are ripping across it. And, like, again, you just look back and think, fuck, these people were so incredible back then to be able to make that kind of shit happen. Because to us, like I said, we literally just get an excavator, get some fucking concrete. We do this a year. Oh, we got this, 6-lane bridge fucking going over shit, where these other, they had to, oh my God, just an amazing, amazing set of people. And, that actually brings me back to one of the biggest questions I get with Tattered Beans is why I went with, everyone asks, why didn't I go with the 50 states for our logo? And I said, because the logo that I went with was freedom. That was the flag that stood for freedom. And
yeah, the original
flag.
Yeah, I get that. Sorry, Alaska and Hawaii and Oregon territories. Yeah,
no offense.
Yeah, the original 13 colonies, man.
Yeah, it just is that was when we broke from and we became free. And the whole concept is behind Tattered Beans is, breaking that, breaking away and from those extra little bills and having stuff. So it was a whole fucking mindset that, you put together when you do shit.
I like that. It reminds me of, I think it was in the last couple of years, a meme, and it has I think Washington crossing the river, and it's got they're holding that original flag, and it says, "You like a rebel flag? Try one with a winning record." And I was like, that's fucking badass, man. So yeah, you go with the logo of freedom. That's solid. And you move back. You're in Pennsylvania, which I've been looking up, like a lot of cool shit. For all us West Coast people, a lot of cool shit has happened in Pennsylvania. I mean, besides you got the Liberty Bell, you got Puxatawney Phil. If you don't know who that is, you haven't seen Groundhog's Day.
You need to be shot.
I mean,
in a while.
Exactly.
Even with
that's where the Marine Corps started in Ton Tavern. So it's a good place to be from. But nobody I've met thinks of Pennsylvania as a state producing great coffee, and so you guys are changing that perception of the state. Pretty fast.
When you say that, because that's probably I remember you said that. Somebody else that we're working with, he said the same thing. He said, I gotta be honest, he goes, I thought your coffee was gonna be shit.
Yeah.
And I was like, but what they don't understand is, see, we don't roast ours. We co-package, again, smarter, not harder. I didn't want to reinvent the wheel, so it took my partner and I a couple years to interview roasters. Here's our concept. Here's our idea. This was for the cafe. This is what we want to do. We co-package your product. My wife is a coffee snob. So as I would bring her samples, she's like,
yeah, a good quality tester.
oh yeah.
Right?
She's just like, no. And, so you could always compare it to Starbucks, which is burnt and and always gets up,
Yeah.
but it's just everywhere. So it's just like, might as well stop there. From that standpoint, once we narrowed it down to the few, this other company, well, fuck, they've been around 200 years. So they obviously know what they're doing. So if that's the case, let's talk to them and pitch them our idea and go from there. They took it and, here we are. And it's been 4 years. I've been working with them and they're amazing. Again, they know what the hell they're doing. They believe in the mission. So, and that's a key, that's a key part. And they just literally happen to be in our back door.
That is so cool. That is so cool. And I just, so I work in a small office of 6 people, and 2 of them are from Philly. Like, what are the odds, right? Out here in California. So I was learning all kinds of like fun facts about the state of Pennsylvania. Like out here, we have a city called Lancaster. Yeah. But I know out there you have Lancaster.
Oh yeah,
that's it, right?
Yeah. Man, they get pissed off if you don't call it that.
Yeah, exactly. They're like, that's how you know. That's how you know they're from out of the area. I was like, all right, cool, man. I'm learning the lingo.
Yeah.
Tell me about the different roasts you guys have and what the differences are. Which one's your favorite?
My personal favorite is the Weekend Pass. That's got a little rum coconut feel. Probably our biggest seller is the Fourth Quarter Strong, which to this day, and I want to do one of those little taste tests, where you put little fucking blocks and people can't see what they're drinking and shit like that.
Yeah.
I would put my Fourth Quarter Strong up against anybody's strongest coffee, because I tell you what, there has not been a review that I haven't gotten back where people are like, dude, I don't know what your fucking fourth quarter is, but it wakes me up. It doesn't give me the shakes.
That's key right there, because you can get coffee with a lot of caffeine. Yeah. And it makes you feel like a crackhead.
Yeah. And ours doesn't. And they're like, but I feel amazing after I drink it. And I'm like, fucking cool.
Yeah, fucking A, man. That's good stuff. So you got Weekend Pass, you got Fourth Quarter Strong.
We've got Drill Sergeant, which again that's like a nutty flavor.
Like hazelnut, right?
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah. I love that, especially I was making espresso with it, and that is I didn't think I would like a hazelnut flavor.
Yeah.
Mostly because I've had it in like shitty bagel shops, and they have like their house roast, their French roast, and like a hazelnut, and it's because it's shitty coffee. Yeah. So that was my association with hazelnut.
Exactly. So we have our Foxhole decaf, our special ops, which is our espresso. We've got our morning run. If you read the little taglines, I mean, each one of them, I have a little comedic, side to it. The drill instructor, the nutty flavor.
Yeah, exactly. I like it.
They're fucking nutty, they're fucking like, woo, so each one has a little zing to it. Like we saved your ass, which is our French vanilla, this is dedicated to the World War I vets, because we saved your ass, and it's a French vanilla,
It's perfect.
Yeah.
The first one I tried, first roast, was the Delta Dark. And again, I didn't think I liked dark roast, and I usually don't, but your dark roast, there was something about it where I didn't feel jittery. It was a good flavor. You had to taste it. But from a guy who's usually more of a light roast guy, I was down with it.
Our Delta Dark isn't burnt. Like I said, that's the one thing is about, another company, that I had spoke about. Their stuff tastes burnt. That's the one thing. And again, it's quality. So find somebody that, is great at what they do and work with them.
Yeah. Doing it right.
Yeah. You listen, in my business model, we run the company on $1. So we have multiple income streams. If I was just relying on the coffee company, I would probably not be able to use this model, because I wouldn't be able to give $4 back. We would have to, keep more, in order to operate the business. But because we have different income streams, and that's why we say we're mission based. I didn't want to be a 501c3. I know how they work. I've had them. It's not what I want to fucking do.
Yeah.
So we just come straight out and say we're a for-profit business. We run the company on $1. The middle part goes to all the costs that, the bags, the boxes, the coffee itself, stickers, everything, and $4 go to the vets. or first responders or active duty.
Yeah, that's a cool thing. So people you have is, what are you calling them? Envoys, reps?
So like you're an athlete, so thank you, for believing in the mission and being a part of it is
Oh, hell yeah, man.
and then we have other people that are just envoys that believe in the mission, buy the coffee, support, they talk about Tattered Beans and the mission. They bring other people on to register to get them to put a profile on the website. So we have different levels of, how people can participate within the business.
It's really cool, and it's been easy for me to share with other people. The thing I like about it is I've been involved with fundraising for a while, and it's a hard sell a lot of times because I say, hey, will you just give me money? And people are, okay, maybe. You can only do that a couple times. The cool thing about this is I've shared the message and say, hey, you drink coffee. Would you like to continue drinking coffee and do nothing extra, but the coffee you're drinking is helping me out?
Yep.
Yeah, okay, I can do that.
Mike, let's be honest. How many stores do we go into? You go to the little pay kiosk and it says, the person at the counter says, you have to answer the first question. Would you like to donate $1 to whatever that company's cause is they're doing? Right?
Usually it's no, but if you do, it's a lot of people will do it out of guilt.
Exactly.
Or a lot of people, it's just, you feel forced. It's like, I don't want to, but I don't want to look bad, and I don't want to feel bad about it.
Exactly. You never look at the person in the eye and say, no, not interested.
Yeah. Unless you're a stone cold killer, man. I'll do that sometimes. You'll be like, no, fuck your charity.
No, fuck your charity.
I won't say that. I'll be like, no, I totally support people being homeless, so I'm not going to give you any money.
Yeah. The problem is that we are so worn out as a society, not knowing where our money's going. So we want to take our hard-earned money and just give it to some random business to not know what's going on. So again, working smarter, not harder, I take that business philosophy and the way the mind works and see the trends and stuff. And I'm like, okay, if we make it mission-based, people know they can see exactly where their money's going, and they're physically getting a product in all reality cheaper than what other gourmet coffees are going for.
Much cheaper. Yeah, I'm out here. We're paying for good coffee of comparable quality. I'm paying at least $15 to $20 a bag.
Yeah.
So $12, huge. Easy decision. And again, like you said, like I talked to people who were like, I was excited to support you, and I thought this coffee would just kind of suck. And then they're like, it was actually good. That's like you can text, oh, this is actually good. Like, yeah, no, cool, pretty cool, huh? Pretty cool. You don't have to like pretend you like it and you're like, oh, it's good.
Yeah. And you know what? And that's awesome. Because we tell our roaster that all the time. Like, listen, you guys are doing great, because we've got now people all over the world who have tasted our coffee and they love it. And so we haven't had anyone say that they haven't liked it. And listen, who knows? Maybe they, don't, and they just, don't want to speak badly of it because of the mission and stuff like that. But we're big boys. We got big shoulders, so if you don't like it, I fully understand. Try a different blend. So like when every single person, when they buy, we generally will send a vac pack of something that they haven't bought. So if someone orders the 4th quarter strong and the drill instructor, we'll generally send them a vac pack of maybe We Saved Your Ass.
Oh yeah, so they can, exactly. I like that.
Yep. So every single order that goes out, that's what we generally do.
Another thing as I'm thinking about it is you talk about people wanting to spend their money and know exactly where it's going. One of the cool things about Tattered Beans that I like is, as opposed to a larger like 501c3 nonprofit, they say we're helping veterans, and you throw your money to, it just feels like some big pool and it goes somewhere. But here, it's going to a specific vet, specific first responder, because you're choosing them on the website and then buying the coffee through them. So you know exactly where it's going, to the person.
Exactly. Listen, there's a lot of great organizations out there that help vets with bills and stuff like that. But there's a lot of forms they have to fill out. And
oh my God, yeah, death by forms.
Whereas with us, it's, again, it's a simple concept. People buy coffee under one of these individuals. The money goes directly back to that individual, and they can do with it what they want. They can buy gas. They can extra Christmas presents, take the family out to, dinner. Maybe it's just something extra that's going back to them, and they get to do with it what they want. And again, I'll never break anybody's balls who's giving back to vets, active duty, or first responders, because if somebody's, like buy one, get a free t-shirt, stuff like that, that's freaking awesome, because at the end of the day, that company is still investing in giving something back. So, kudos to them. My thing was, I just know cash is king from being an entrepreneur. So if I can give cash back, then they can do with it what they want.
Yeah, that's cool. And the thing is, there's so much room for that because the other models are everywhere. So your model is unique in that, and there's a lot of room.
Yeah.
What I was excited about too is that I can use the funds that are coming in to me, to the Ironman Foundation, specifically to the Gold Star Initiative. So that was exciting for me because I was like, this is exactly where I want it to go.
Right.
Supporting, these Gold Star families who've lost a son or daughter, and it makes my fundraising so much easier. So I really appreciate it.
Yeah. And you know what, that, for our standpoint, when I'm signing that check and filling out that paperwork, and to say on behalf of, Mike Ergo, that was pretty cool. It's every check that I sign that my name goes on is pretty awesome. But again, you've done very well, so you have a big pool of people who believe in you, who buy coffee under you. And so, that is always going to be there to be able to give back to, what you just said. It's very important to you. So we're able to help you on a constant basis forever.
It's pretty cool, man. Well, I'm going to sell as much coffee as I can, especially this summer. So you guys do whatever you need to do to get tired enough to need more coffee and start buying more of it. I love it, dude. What's next? What's the next move for Tattered Beans?
So now we're now starting to partner with people that do events. So we just signed on with IWI, gun manufacturer, with Jeremy and those guys over there.
I looked at that and I was all excited. And none of them will be able to be shipped to me in California or Massachusetts. So I was like, I should have seen that coming.
Right.
They look so cool, though.
Oh, man. Those guys, Jeremy and those guys over there are freaking badass. I have a dear friend that, actually works there. We've known, Lindsay and Matt for, oh, my God, forever. They actually work there. We just went and toured the facility, which is actually right in Harrisburg, just down the road from us, that was awesome. So we're really excited to provide coffee at their stations at these big events like SHOT Show and other things. So our first event is coming up. Other cool things is we're working. We're going to be up at the Warhouse Gym June 8th. With Rob and Dana Bailey, Jay Cutler. Oh my God, a ton of Brooke Ennis, Bonnie Schroeder. Derek Weeda.
Is that Amanda there in the background?
It is. Yep.
Amanda.
Listen, man, my right fucking hand person. It's like it goes me, my wife, Amanda.
Amanda's solid for all you guys who get to interact with her. She's a solid person. I've had a lot of fun talking to her.
Thanks. Great personality. She makes shit happen. I come up with stupid, crazy ideas, and I'm like, hey, this is what we need to do. And she fucking makes it happen. As a team, really good. So we got some really cool stuff, coming up. That's the second phase. Is now we just literally have to, shake hands and kiss babies. So we're lining some stuff up. Starting to line some stuff up in DC. Again, try to get our mission out there, because we know it's different. This is another, Mike, people are like, well, aren't you afraid, people will copy? I'm like, I fucking hope they do. Everyone copy my business model, please.
That's cool. That's that abundance mentality, which again is another thing that probably gets overused or oversaid on social media. But yeah, there's enough room for everybody.
Oh my God.
And if you're doing it right, people are going to want to support you. That seems like, and you're proof of that, because it's working. You're not worried about customers going other places. You're like, okay, if you need to, but my shit's the best. So and they like you, they know you because they know your intentions and your motivations are pure. So that's why everyone's flocking to Tattered Beans.
And we've literally doubled from our first set of checks going out to the vets to our second set. We've doubled. So it's working. The mission's working. Money's getting back into either other people's foundations or their pockets personally. So I took a concept and made it work.
That's awesome. So what do you got in terms of apparel for besides drinking coffee? And am I going to be able to rep like a Tattered Beans bike jersey or a hat or bandana, or I don't know? What do you guys have going there?
So each individual, like yourself, so we have different athletes that do things. So we are going to come up with stuff that is, maybe in the Spartan, type racing, or the Ironman type racing, or the lifting, things like that. We are in the design to try to come up with, we won't carry a ton of it, but specifically so we can be repped correctly. And again, that comes back. Let me rewind. We're all the way back to the events that we're doing. We're trying to build the event side of the company now so that we can have tables or booths set up at different events. So like where you're running the Ironman, maybe we would have a little tent that's specifically for you, or maybe vets that are running the Ironman that can be set up specifically for each event.
Oh yeah, we got to talk about that because that's going to be fun.
Yeah, so we want to do that. If we can close this other athlete, he does Spartan races, so we want to physically have a booth at each one of these events that our athletes are doing. Whether it's a bodybuilding competition, things like that, because we want to support our athletes in that way. Because again, at the end of the day, you as an athlete or as an envoy, it's your job to bring more people on to get signed up because they see how badass you are. And if you're signed up, well then, okay, well, it must be cool. So I'll get signed up. So in order to do that, we need to have coordinators there with iPads, taking pictures, getting people signed up, so again, our mission just constantly keeps growing.
Well, I can think of an event out my way on July 27th in Northern California involving Ironman. Maybe we can get you guys to come out for that because that'd be pretty fun. Amanda, book flights.
Her hands. Hey, but listen, let's be honest. Amanda just flew like last December. So it was the first time I flew her and somebody else down to Tampa for a project. And I remember she's like, I never flew before. I'm like, you'll be fine. And now she wants to fly everywhere. And she's like, where's the next trip? Where are we going? I'm like, well, we're driving to Ohio. Like, why can't we fly? I'm like, because it's only like 5 hours.
I love flying. I mean, I should correct. I love going on airplanes where I don't do anything.
Yeah, I'm not. Listen, I got to be honest. I will drive before I fly now. There's too many freaking assholes out there that get on airplanes now. And I don't have the personality. And I'm going to be very honest. I don't have the personality for some schmuck that's, fighting with a stewardess or being a dick to somebody else. And it would grab him by the fucking neck and, I'd, shake him around a little bit. Be like, you're fucking our plane up. What are you doing?
It's like that's one of my favorite scenes at the end of Dumb and Dumber where he gets to meet Bobby, her husband, and he die, and then he comes back to reality, just shaking his hand hella hard, like ooh.
And you hear too much of that, so oh my god, I could not imagine like flying somewhere and again some turd, being a jerk to somebody, and you got a deep plane, and oh my god, I'd be furious.
Yeah, that could be a bummer.
That would be so I fly as little as I have to.
Well, one of those flights hopefully will be pretty soon, and so we can hang out in person.
Oh my god, absolutely. So we're for that portion of things, we're buying all of our banners. Listen, from a business standpoint, because our operating budget is so small for what we're dealing with, that's an investment from my part. I want to make sure that people believe in it first before you go, and that's one of the one things I mentor young entrepreneurs on is like, listen, you gotta slow growth, see how it's going, and before you go and you put your whole entire nut into stuff, and then you're sitting around with a ton of banners and T-shirts, and all this and that. Like,
Yeah.
give it a little bit to make sure it works first. So now that we know the model is working, people are getting behind it. We're getting people signed up every day. We're getting organizations signed up every day. We just got a really cool one from Tampa that we'll be putting on our allies page that helps vets. As more people are signing up, we're seeing like, shit, this is working. Now let's go to phase 2. And so every business has to have that model in, okay, phase 1 working. All right, move to phase 2, get phase 2, go to phase 3, and go from there.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Obviously, why you're successful. Well, I think my strategy will be come do an Ironman near you guys and make it easier so I can take a flight.
There you go.
And hang
Absolutely. So you can. Well, I mean, where would they do them around here?
Oof, Maryland might be the closest one.
Okay.
There are so many though, so it'll be pretty easy to make happen.
Well, hell yeah, we'll take care of you.
Sounds good, man.
Yeah.
Well, I'll be sure to quote you on that for business advice and advice for relationships. Before you put your whole nut into something, make sure it's working out.
Absolutely. That's probably one of the biggest mistakes I see young entrepreneurs. They call themselves entrepreneurs. And it's just like, well, again, you and I talked, Instagram is the worst thing in the world. It's literally one of the worst things because it gives people the false hope of, being successful and their dreams and this and that. And because the problem is they're looking at other people who's got the Lamborghinis, who are, or maybe the big house and this and that. And they're like,
it's a bunch of 22-year-old like Gary V wannabes.
Exactly.
I love it. Never not grinding. Yeah. Always hustling. 100% on. Balls to the wall. Hashtag killing it. You're like, what's happening, man? I see a guy, like I'll scroll through it and see just a guy talking about doing stuff. What are you selling? What are you actually doing? How do you have all this time to be on Instagram?
Exactly. Listen, I tell a story all the time. So you ever watch The Sopranos?
Yeah.
Okay. So you remember the scene when Johnny Sack got his Maserati?
Yeah.
So I remember, I lived in Key West at the time, and I looked at my wife and I said, that's my dream car. I said, I'm going to get that car. It took me 15 fucking years to get that car.
That's
15 years. And let me tell you, all the fake shit on Instagram and this and that, people standing by Lamborghinis and people standing by fucking jets and shit like that. It's all a facade. And
oh yeah, they have rental services. I was listening to a podcast, some guys out of LA. They're like, yeah, they have a rental service so you can stand by a Lambo or stand by a private jet and like,
yeah, exactly. And
pretend you're Pitbull.
That's great. Exactly. And the fuck and Mike, the problem is like you and I said it, they just don't get it. I'm 47. I've lived, the old Al Pacino from Son of a Woman, I've been around,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I've been around. Like, motherfucker, I'm 47. I've fallen 22 feet, almost died, broke myself in half, spinal cord injury, have cancer, been bankrupt a couple times, made millions, lost it, made millions, lost it, made millions again. The third time was fucking better than any of it. I've started any business, like I said, that you could come up with: restaurants, nightclubs, other club, events, cafes, coffee, real estate, housing developments, construction, heavy equipment. I've invested or owned so many different things. And so I've lived. I don't have my college education. So the School of Hard Knocks is where I graduated from. And I'm still fucking learning every single day. I'm always taking a program from the School of Hard Knocks. That's my point. These other young bucks and buckettes, they haven't lived yet. Like life hasn't fucking punched them in the face yet and kicked them in the balls. So when it does,
yeah, exactly.
They
go fall off a building, go get cancer, go have a spinal cord injury.
Yeah.
Right.
Or go to war, go fucking fight in a war.
Go to war. Yeah, exactly.
That's another thing. Like, that's probably one of my biggest pitches that I tell people about Tattered Beans. I said, listen, I'm a vet. So I wanted to go in the military. I love the military. So yes, I wanted to serve my country, but I'm not fucking you guys. Dude, like I'm like a bump on a pickle compared to wartime vets. And, so I own my shit. I'm like, Don't put me on a fucking pedestal because these guys are way more of a hero and badasses than I am. You know, I was in the military at peacetime comparatively. So we're actually going to be doing another project. I can't talk too much about it, but it will be a series that's going to, you know, highlight a lot of that stuff about badasses like you guys.
I'm looking forward to that. And that's a nice little teaser. So, stay tuned, everybody.
We start working on in October, so we're pretty fucking excited about that one. But that's gonna give a real positive outlook, education, you know, for a lot of these people, because it's going to be a rough one to talk about. But a lot of people think everyone that goes into the military are just fucking stupid. You know,
I know. Yeah. You know? Well, when we tell stories about like free jet ski rides and other dumb fucking ways they got us to sign up, you know, okay, I'll give those people a little benefit of the doubt for thinking we're all knuckleheads. But you're right. You got a lot of smart people, which surprised me too in the infantry. A lot of smart people.
Yeah. Yep. And it's a shame that people just look down on people that go in the military. And again, so this project is going to bring light to that, educate society based on some of their predetermined thoughts, which is unfortunate. Again, I went in the military because my head was up my ass. It was great for me. Other people go in the military, and listen, even back then, I loved my country and all this and that. So there was patriotism behind it. But in all reality, I wasn't a college kid. I was never, you know, diagnosed with was it ADHD or whatever. I wasn't diagnosed with that, but man, I was just always a dreamer. I was always I had a small attention span on doing something because my mind would be like, oh, let's do this and let's do that. And so I've taken that same business philosophy to this day. But so many people are like, oh, you got to go to college. Or, you know, even if people that go to a trade school, people are like, oh, what, you can't get into college? Well, no, I want to be a welder. You know, I want to.
Yeah, exactly.
Let me tell you a quick story. So we were getting our single serve pods. And, you know, so I have a pretty cool looking Jeep. And so we had taken it up there, and because we were looking at the factory. So this truck driver was there, and he was talking to me and commenting on my Jeep. And so as he walked away, I shook his hand. I said, you know what? Thank you. And he looked at me. Now, this is an older guy. I'd say probably in his 60s. And he looked at me. He's like, thank you for what? I'm like, for what you do. And he's like, what do you mean? I'm like, well, you drive that truck. I said, he goes, yeah. I said, I'm telling you, thank you. I said, because these boxes, they wouldn't be here without guys like you that haul the boxes or haul the paper to make the boxes, or the tree pulp or any of that and the fuel and, you know, the rubber that makes the tires or the fucking parts of my Jeep that, you know, I'm like, you guys
Truck
fucking
stop running, America stops working, really.
Exactly. I said, you make America. And he looked at me and he shook my hand and he said, thank you. He goes, because honestly, no one's ever told me that. Isn't that a fucking shame?
Yeah. Well, nobody knows. And that, you could sum up a lot of ignorance with nobody just knows or takes the time to think about it.
Exactly. You know?
Hey, so where can people find you? Where do we go? How do we buy Tattered Beans?
So listen, personal friends of yours or associates, they can find us at tatteredbeans.com. They can go to your profile, buy the coffee right under.
You see a picture of me screaming, carrying the Marine Corps flag across LEE Drive in Kona.
Exactly.
Ironman World Championships.
Yep. So tatteredbeans.com. You can tell your other military veteran friends or active duty friends or first responder friends right there. Go to tatteredbeans.com, go to the register button, fill out whatever information it is that you qualify under and get that all done. We'll get you up on the website. Then you get your own personalized link. And you know what's awesome, Mike, is they don't have to buy one drop of coffee. They don't have to buy
That's pretty cool.
We're not like these multi-level marketing bullshit things where, oh, well, you have to buy a $200 starter pack and you have to sell $300 a month. And, you know, it's like, no, we give you a free personalized link. You can go and put it wherever you want. And then we've even expanded to help these young men and women to sell commercially.
That's solid, man. I put my link in my Instagram profile so people can go there. Well, right on, man. Any words of wisdom to take us out?
Just enjoy life. Every day you put your feet on the ground. Every day that your eyes are open, you take a breath. Just be appreciative.
Yeah, no kidding. That's really what gets me through when I'm, you know, deep in a pain cave, somewhere in an Ironman. It's like my legs hurt. Well, guess what, motherfucker? I have legs, and that's pretty awesome. And if they hurt, that means I'm alive. And that's
Yep.
pretty awesome too. So,
Yep. And and that goes for anybody that is dealing with stuff. I had somebody ask me, it was a doctor, and she looked at me all serious because she was reading my medical, all the things that I've, been through. And she looked at me all serious and she goes, "Are you okay?" And I looked at her and I'm like, "What, you mean like my pain now?" Like, she's like, "No, like I'm reading through your things. Like, are you okay? Are you depressed?" I'm like, "Fuck no, I'm not depressed." I said, "I'm above ground." I said, "Life's good." I said, "It's all perspective." I said,
it is always perspective. Yeah.
I said, as we're sitting here right now having this conversation, there is a family circled around a bed having to say goodbye to someone. I said, they're a hell of a lot worse off than I am right now. I said, so
That's true,
life
man.
for me is good.
Yeah, and that's perspective, and that's exactly what it is. Well, Jake, you're a motivated motherfucker, man, and I'm proud to know you. I'm proud to be part of the Tattered Beans family. And Amanda, I see you back there. Well, I can hear you. Proud to know you too. So thank you both. And everyone listening. Until then, we usually say drink water, but I'm gonna say drink coffee, meditate, and kill bodies.
One of these